What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and in this video I want to talk about sales. Yeah. In particular, sales for the non-salesperson. Okay, those of you guys that are entrepreneurs that started a business or are in the process of starting a business, but the thought of sales just freaks you out. You're just like, I just can't fathom the thought of having to go out there and deal with that potential, rejection that salespeople have to deal with. And there's different strategies to, help you accomplish your goals of getting sales. Because the bottom line is, if you don't have sales, you're not going to do well in business. Sales is kind of what drives, everything. Sales. If you have sales, you're going to have the money to be able to grow your business, to be able to hire on staff if that's the direction you want to go in. But otherwise, if you don't have sales, then kind of what's the point? What's the point of even starting a business? So basically, I want to give you two tips, two techniques, okay, for the non-sales entrepreneur. And those two are, number one, I would say, okay, the easiest way is social media marketing. Okay, because with social media marketing, it's kind of like that passive aggressive way to kind of do your sales, where you're basically, you can sit behind the desk, you put together your campaign, and then you deploy, you launch it. And once you launch your campaign, if you do it the right way, you can target certain demographics, right? You can, by age, by interest, by title. And so that's going to come up in their news feed. And now, pretty much everyone's on Facebook. Presidents of companies, HR managers, product managers, decision makers. So everyone's on social media now for the most part. And, in particular, like Facebook and, Twitter. But a social media campaign that's properly put together is going to help you accomplish that goal of starting to generate some sales. At some point, you're going to have to maybe hire a salesperson, depending on what your product or service is. Okay, so you may not need to. You may be doing something to where you don't necessarily need to hire a salesperson. It all depends on what your vision is for your company, or for what you're doing. So if you're just a consultant, you're more of a solopreneur, where you're basically getting on business and then you're going out and doing the work. Then again, you still need to sell your product or your service if you're a consultant. So you may not need necessarily a salesperson, but there's people that know their stuff. They know what they're talking about. They're experts. But when it comes to selling their service, they're like freaking out. Okay, because they don't know how to do it. So social media is probably the most important tool that you have to be able to get initially get those sales, get those sales going. So that's number one. Number two is attending like networking events. Networking allows you to pretty much be yourself. Okay, you can be yourself, and you can develop, certain relationships with people. And now, okay, so one of the things is I've been to a lot of different networking events, and one of the things that I hate the most, I hate when this happens. You go to a networking event, okay, and you're passing out, exchanging business cards, stuff like that. Is number one, I hate it when people try to sell me their service or their product at the networking event. Okay, I'm not going there to buy something right then and there. I'm going there to network with other people. Okay, so don't do that. Don't go to a networking event and try to sell your product or service. Okay, that's a big no. Just don't do it. It's going to put a bad taste in people's mouth, and they're not going to want to deal with you. So don't do it. And number two, the number two thing to stay away from is, okay, let's say you go to this networking event, exchange business cards. Don't the next day or in the next 2 days call or email these people and try to push your product or service. Okay, those are the two things that I hate the most, is when they try to sell me on the spot, or they wait like the next day or a couple of days. And then so like this is usually what happens to me. If they in that scenario, I'll end up getting like a LinkedIn request. Okay, so and then once I add people, they'll automatically send me a message. Okay, either through LinkedIn or like they'll email me, because obviously my email is on the business card. And they'll just be like, "Hey, I met you at the networking event. I think I could really, save you some money. I have some time available Tuesday. What time do you want to meet, or what time do you want me to come by?" Because that's like the old way of selling. I mean, back in the old days, that's how they would train you. They would say, okay, don't give the customer an option. Just tell them, I'm going to come by on this day. What time? I don't know. It's just, that's the worst approach. Don't do that. Okay. Even for me, like back in the day, I was pretty aggressive, and yeah, I mean, it works, but I'm sure that, it came at the expense of people saying, damn, I wish, they're kind of regretting it. It's kind of like having that buyer's remorse type thing. And you don't want that either. You don't want people to buy something from you and all of a sudden feel like pissed off because they felt pressured into doing it. Maybe they did it because they were under pressure, and then they thought about it and they're like, oh, I really didn't want it. So you want long-term business. Okay, you want people to respect you, to appreciate and like you, so that down the line they can refer others to you. Okay, that's what you're trying to accomplish. You're not, if you're just looking for that short-term like sell, that short-term sale, I mean, then you might be able to get that if you get aggressive, but they're going to resent it more than likely, and then that's going to ruin your chances of getting a good referral later, because later on they're going to be like, no, don't deal with this guy or girl, because they're just going to be pushy. They're going to, they're not going to feel comfortable referring anyone to you. So don't do it. Okay, the whole purpose of networking events is to try to sell yourself. Okay, you want people to buy into you. Forget what you're selling. Okay, you want people to buy into you. Okay, if people like you, okay, then they're gonna want to interact with you. They're gonna be, happy to hear from you. When they get an email, they're gonna open it. Oh yeah, I met this person the other day. Okay, and don't be like, don't try to sell something, in the email or whatever. Just, follow up. Say, hey, it was nice meeting you. Look forward to, maybe networking with you again in the future. Keep it very, very broad, very general. Don't try to sell something in that follow up communication. So the goal is just try to sell yourself. Okay, and that's going to lead to long-term opportunity, because these people are going to feel comfortable with you. So the networking part, in most cases, it's not going to be a quick sell, because it's going to take time to nourish these relationships, to build these relationships, so that it can lead to something, some referrals. I mean, and it could be anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, maybe. That's kind of how it goes when you're networking. It's not going to be instantaneous. You're not just going to be like, bam, I got a bunch of sales. Okay, so and that's why I kind of brought up social media first, because social media, if someone's interested, they're going to click and they're going to be directed right to you, and then hopefully they're going to call you, and then bam. Okay, so now you're getting someone calling you as opposed to you're calling them. Okay, so don't be discouraged if you want to work for yourself, but you're just like, I hate sales. I don't like doing it. I just want to do the work, and that's it. Okay, you have to get strategic about it, and you have to understand that there's ways to do it. So that's really what I wanted to talk about today, is social media marketing, networking events. So these are two techniques for the non-sales person, the non-sales entrepreneur, business owner, to be able to engage and to be able to get the ball rolling and increase sales. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Do me a favor, subscribe, like, and feel free to connect. Leave me a comment or contact me directly. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thanks for watching.